Hi, this is the part 2. Okay, so we talk about 3 assumptions in the last video. We talk about, we challenge 3 different types of thinking. The first one is physically attractive people have it all, which is false. It's not true. My worth as a person depends on how I look. Not true. I should always do whatever I can to look my best. Not true. And I want to phrase this more precisely. I should always do whatever I can to fit in societal beauty standard. Definitely not true. Because if you think like that, you are more likely to do endless surgeries in order to be accepted. Okay, the fourth one. So this is a new one we want to discuss. The first thing that people will notice about me is what's wrong with my appearance. I want to share a very interesting story. So when I was young, that because in Taiwan people used to judge my lips being too big. They called me octopus because in cartoon octopus has big lips like this in cartoon. I used to be so self-conscious about my lips, and even right now, I have rebuilt my body confidence. When Australian people looking at my lips, I still have negative thoughts around it. I will be thinking they are judging my lips being too big. Although I know Australian people love big lips, they think it's kind of nice or something having big lips. And the most interesting thing is I think once a guy complimented my lips being beautiful or nice and big. And I realized, okay, I really need to change my thinking around this octopus thing, I need to change my thinking around it instead of seeing it, instead of thinking that when people are looking at my lips, it is because they are too big or something like that. In fact, they are thinking it is nice lips, maybe they have negative thinking, but I think sometimes we tend to anchor past negative experience with the current experience, and that you need to re-anchor it. Sometimes even to get a feedback from the people who has a wider perspective. Okay, you can see yourself correctly. Okay, you need to see yourself correctly. Don't anchor your past experience with your current experience. So the first thing that people will notice about me is what's wrong with my appearance. It's not true, okay? Sometimes people, they are not even thinking about your appearance. They might be thinking about something else. So don't associate everything with your appearance. And then if you notice yourself continuously asking for assurance around your body, about your appearance, then you probably need to be aware. Maybe you are making certain assumptions, okay? Like, oh, I need to look best. I need to look a certain way in order to be loved and accepted. Okay, so tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone to challenge each idea, and I will be asking them, how do you challenge it? Some people may say, oh, I don't think so, because sometimes according to my experience, blah blah blah. So I want people to share their personal experience around to challenge certain idea, certain assumption. I think this is a good idea. Okay, so the fifth assumption, if people knew how I really look, they would probably like me less. This is so typical. So I spoke to a client I remember he has this belief that if people really see him in person, they will not like him, because he worried about certain parts of his body is going to be revealed. And this is a very typical thinking if you have trouble around your appearance. If you think that you are not good enough, then you will make this type of assumption. You think, oh, if he really sees me, he is going to dislike me, especially in a public space, or once we have a cup of coffee, I would be rejected, something like that. Sometimes people it's not because of your appearance. I want to say, especially in dating, okay? I have heard people do online dating, and I don't mind if you want to do online dating. That's your business. But I want to recommend you to if you are doing online dating, try to use your real picture. Don't try to filter it, or don't try to make yourself looking different to what you are actually looking. Okay, try to make yourself as real as possible. If you have a flaw on your face or something like that, show it. Because, like, for example, if you for example, I have a bookbinding business. We sell supplies, and sometimes in the product description, I try to make it as blunt as I can, which means anything that I need to describe about this product, good, good or bad. Should I say bad? I should say I would say positive point or negative points. I will mention everything. For example, recently we are selling a product that has flaws, and what I did is I made its cheaper price. So people, and I describe it as it is. I say this product has flaws, and that this product is a rejected product. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it, use for other things. Don't use, you probably don't want to use for bookbinding, something like that. That's the way I do it. And I tell them everything. And I make it cheaper. Because I just sell as it is. It's like, I'm not saying, so I'm saying, by the way, I'm not saying you are cheaper if you have flaws, okay? Everyone has flaws, okay? Anyhow, I'm saying, show up as you are. Don't use filters for your image, for your profile, because you are more likely to attract wrong people. For example, if you keep using certain features to attract people, you are more likely to attract that type of people. This is very straightforward, right? For example, if I have a long leg, I'm very tall, I have long leg, and I'm proud of them. And if I on my profile, I don't have any dating profile, but I'm just making an example. If on the profile I show my long legs, and I wear short skirts, more likely I'm going to attract the type of men who love long legs, and who admire long legs, because they are men love long legs. And if I use it as a feature, then I will attract that. Do you understand? And whoever you want to attract, use them. But what I'm saying is, whatever you show up on the profile, you're going to attract that type of people. So be aware of what you show up. the easiest way, the most straightforward way to attract the right people just to show up on the profile as you are. So you don't give people, you don't mislead people. Just like when you sell the product, you don't want to mislead people. Same as you don't want to describe yourself incorrectly and you mislead people into you. Okay, so that's a way to go. What's the reason I went there? Okay, sometimes I feel like I'm going like somewhere. If people really, that's relevant. If people knew how I really look, they would probably like me less. Then, if you worry about this, you just show up as you are. Do you understand? You have fear, but really, sometimes we dramatize our issues. We think our issue is so big, will be noticed. No one actually notice your issues. The thing that you so-called issues, no one actually care, notice or something. Okay, so this is not true. 6. By managing my physical appearance, I can control my social and emotional life. Come on. By managing my physical appearance, I can control my social and emotional life. Really? Really? I know some people may feel anxious if they don't look this, if they don't fit in societal beauty standard. They feel anxious. They feel like they have to do something about it. And if you do something about it, you will be able to manage your emotional life. Do you really think so? No. Because the moment you are following the trend, you are following what's popular, you are actually giving away your control to other people. Then your emotion goes up and down, up and down. You don't have any peace. Do you understand? I think this is I think I explained really well. I love this explanation. It explains really well. Okay, so I have explained good enough. So I'm going to jump to the next one. My appearance is responsible for much of what has happened to me in my life. I feel, okay, let me explain in this way. I grew up in domestic violence household. But right now, I see it as a blessing. I have never blamed my past or to make excuses for my current life because of my past. Do you understand? I see it as a blessing. It makes me become the person I am today. Because of my past, therefore I became mature earlier. Because of my past, I was able to write a book. Because of my past sufferings, I am able to help more people. I see my sufferings as a blessing, okay? So it depends on how you want to see your situation. My appearance is responsible for much of what has happened to me in my life. Just like if you don't have great success in your life, have you ever seen people that blame their parents for their life? Oh, because of my background, therefore I am not successful. So basically, you are being irresponsible by blaming your appearance. That's all I can say. You are not taking the responsibility of your life. Therefore, you are trying to finger pointing something to blame. And your appearance. If you are not satisfied with your appearance, then